This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first website by visiting squarespace.com/theoffcut. I have a new website thanks to this clever tool, which has a ton of great templates to help get you started. From websites and online stores to marketing tools and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence. It also automatically scales your website to keep it looking clean and professional across all devices. Go check them out. Now onto some workshop tools. These are my parallel guides for my Tracksaw that I showed in my previous video. There's not a lot to them really. There's strips of 12mm plywood and the stop block runs along it to set the distance. I have a few measurements marked along the strip which take into account the width of the track, and the stop block has a threaded insert and bolt that gets pressed into the plywood to hold it down. It's not the most durable solution, but they've held up so far, and I can always replace the strip once this one wears down. I can then align the other guide by putting it against each other and adjusting the other stop block to match it to give two equal distances. I can then clamp them down to the material and butt up the track against the guides for a quick and repeatable cut. I recently purchased this small tool pouch from Built. I'll leave a link in the description box below. This little pouch carries all that I need and means I won't go looking for my tape measure or pencil every 2 minutes. It holds my pen, utility knife, tape measure, automatic punch, pencil, and a remote for my Shopvac. This is the receiver for the Shopvac. It is a very simple setup that I got from JCar for $30. It works for any machine rated for 10 amps. I'll have a link for that as well. I also received some new tools from a crowd called Talk. This is a set of corner radius guides. Each piece has 2 different radiuses on each end, and you can use them to mark the radius or flush trim it with a router. They look and feel nice as they are made out of aluminium. I also have these corner spring clamps. These are used for holding 2 pieces together at a right angle while you drill and screw them. They don't really clamp the pieces together, more like hold them in place so they don't fall. They seem like they will come in handy for assembling boxes, and can hold 18mm thick plywood pretty well. The last tool set is this 4-cm set with stop collars. These will be very handy for drilling the cups for concealed hinges or European hinges like these Blum hinges. You can set the depth stop and lock it with an Allen key. This is my Dewalt job site table saw that I've had for many years. It is a really great saw, however the surface area is quite small, so I've added an extension wing to help support wider pieces. I managed to get it flush and level to the table saw by adding some washers to shim it up. I found these foldable brackets online and thought they would be perfect for this application. Putting them up and down is very easy, and they are strong enough for the job. Another good thing about this pull-out stand is that if I have any material on the ground, like I do here, I don't need to clear it out of the way because the stand doesn't really change its footprint when pulled out, and being mounted to the wall makes it super sturdy. Here I'm using a level to show that it still sits level when extended, and the extension wing is flush with the table saw. Having the small saw on the stand with extension wing really increases the capacity of the saw, and can be put away into a very small footprint when it isn't needed. I can also use my workbench as an outfeed table if I need to. I have the cheapest Shopvac from Festool, which is the CT15. It doesn't have the hose garage on top that can be used to connect to the sustainer boxes, which I now realise is super practical. So instead I tried to mimic that by making this platform that sits on top of the Shopvac. The sides help to line it up on the Shopvac, and I have these 2 stopper pieces at the front to help sit it in place. I also made these 2 gaps on the sides to make use of the bungee cord that is built into the Shopvac. There is also a small cutout at the front to allow for more movement with the hose. It does a good job and I haven't had any issues with it, and it's a great way to store my sander and plunge saw. Lastly is my portable workbench. You can see how it stores the sawhorses and both of my tracks for the Tracksaw. The sawhorses are simply held in by bungee cords, and the tracks are in their own little channel using small strips of plywood. The cutouts on the sides make it super light and easy to grab from any position. I don't have plans for this as I was working off the dimensions of the cheap plastic sawhorses that I have, but this is based off the very popular Ron Polk workbench. I also wanted to be able to transport this in my hatchback as best as possible. You can see that I've lined the boot and the back of the seat with plywood to help with durability, as I'm often sliding tools and materials in and out of the car. The workbench fits perfectly through the main fold-down seat, so I don't have to fold both seats to get it to fit. I also based the length of the workbench so that it would fit perfectly in my car. Here is an example of it with some tools loaded into the boot. I still have a lot of space to put things on top of the workbench like materials or more toolboxes. Setting it up is very easy, it only takes about a minute, and the bench is very light. The sawhorses sit on top of the channel for the tracks, which means the tracks are sitting freely within the workbench and can be moved in and out. There is also a small compartment at the end for storage. This was kind of a follow-up to my shop tour video to go over a few more things in detail and to show what I've added since. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Use the link in the description to save 10% off your first website or domain.